in a very real way, if we just really got and embodied that message, the entire world would be healed all at once. So what we do is we get that message, each of us, in ourselves, and we are healed. And when we are healed, our light shines even brighter, that others might see it. And in seeing it in us, they find it in themselves. That's how important this work is that we do. The title of my message today is Let Your Light Shine. I want to share a story of holding a grand vision. Because as we let our light shine, we will feel called to do and be or have things in the world, to take action, to use our power of strength to move forward. Power of strength there on the green banner. I wear my green shirt today. It is the month of March, and the 12th power for March is strength. So we will bear that in mind as we move forward. Strength is the power to persevere, to push through when necessary. Many years ago, I had a grand vision, and really this was before I was on any kind of purposeful spiritual path. And so I can tell you from experience, this stuff works no matter what you call it, no matter how you conceive of it. These are eternal spiritual principles, spiritual law, if you will. And they apply everywhere all the time. I was working for a company, a small company, and I really admired the owner because I thought, this is really cool, and this person owns this company. I would like to own a company. How do you do that? I have no idea. I was in my 20s. No idea how to own a company. So I thought, well, maybe one should go to business school. For whatever reason, that idea popped in my head. Now, I didn't know anything about business school. It was just something that seemed like a good direction. I recognize now I was being called in that direction. And I was living at that time in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and somebody told me what I didn't know, that there's a top 5 business school in this town. I did not know that. That seems like a good sign. Maybe I should apply there. So that led to me attending that school, which through circumstances, now you might say, I didn't know you had an MBA. I don't. I didn't finish that program. I started it. So what? That's what I'm saying. You know, when the Spirit calls me to that, you think it's to complete, like my mind takes over and decides what that means. It doesn't have to mean that at all. And no, I didn't complete it. Why? Because we were just starting to have kids, and life got busy and crazy during that time. And here's another good part. I was offered a job in a town an hour away, so we moved to that town. I tried to keep going to classes in the evening. I shifted from the full-time program to the part-time program. It just wasn't happening, and so I let it go. And that was a good and right thing to do that I know. But, you know, being in that is part of what got me on the radar of this company that hired me. Now, I'm still not an owner. I don't know a lot about running a business because I didn't get all the way through business school. But that's okay. Through a whole series of circumstances in this company that I was hired ostensibly to be a software development manager, I ended up being the CEO 2 years later. And I think, how great is that? But I ask you to consider how dysfunctional a company must be in order for that to happen. Right? But there it was. So, oh, this grand vision, it's taking twists and turns. I didn't see this coming. No one could have seen this coming. So now I'm the CEO of a company that's barely skipping by. The owners gave me very clear instructions. Here's what we want you to do as CEO. Stop this company from losing money. I said, okay. And I did. Right, I did that. Now, after a while, I want to be the owner of a company. I would go to this investment group that owned this business and say, hey, I would like to buy this business from you. And they would just generally ignore me. I mean, I really did not get much feedback. I probably did that 2 or 3 times. Now, bear in mind, I didn't have any money. How was I going to buy this business? I have no idea. I thought, well, I'll figure that out when I get to it. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Well, about the third time I approached them and said the same thing, they said, funny, you should say that. We've been talking about that. So my idea didn't go nowhere, right? It went somewhere, I just didn't know. And they ended up making a deal with me that I could walk away with 2/3 of that business for very little cash, right? It's people say, how did you do what you do? I'm going to do what you did. What I did was impossible, but let me teach you the spiritual principles that were underpinning it, even though I didn't know it. That you can do, and you'll do your own impossible situation. Well, I bought 2/3 of that business from them, moved it from Michigan to North Carolina, because now I'm the owner. We can run this business from wherever I want. And it was touch and go there for a while, but it's done okay. And after about 2 years, they were ready to get out, and I bought their third. Now, I did have to borrow money, like real money, to do that. But I borrowed that money, and I paid it back over time. So when you hold a grand vision, that is a call from the Spirit. It's an important thing that you're being called to do, no matter what it may look like from the outside, right? No matter what it may look like from the outside. And that is one thing that we do here, is we answer the call of Spirit. If you are here, I know that you have answered that call, else you would not be here. And we are here to do what? To learn what that song is telling us. I am light, you are light. We are all light. And we're here to let our light shine. So to do this with the business, I had to release fear, which, looking back, I feel like I was pretty bold. I'm not sure why. I was drinking a lot at the time. That might have something to do with it. I don't know if it did or not. I had to embrace possibility, really, to set aside that idea and say, well, how are you going to do this? You can't do this. You can't own a company. You don't even know what that means, and you don't have any money. No, that's not what I was thinking. You just hold the vision and put one foot in front of the other. I had to let my light shine, right? Or as I'm going to quote from the powerful spiritual teachings from Finding Nemo. Remember that movie? Remember Dory, the bluefish? What'd she say? Just keep swimming. That's the power of strength. Just keep swimming. Put one foot in front of the other. Trust the Spirit and be open to whatever that call is, and you will wend and wind your way from one situation to another. I thought of a metaphor for this. So picture a person's living in Boston, and they think, I'm going to go to California. They love food. I'm going to go to California. I'm going to be the biggest farmer of fresh fruits and vegetables that the world has ever seen. Well, they get as far as Kansas City, and their money runs out. And they see an opportunity, and they buy a little piece of land, and were able to pretty quickly turn around and sell it for some profit. And they thought, oh, I'm pretty good at this. Let me do that again. Well, guess what? They never made it out of Kansas City. Right? They became the largest land developer in Kansas City ever. Now, what a failure, right? Because what did they set out to do? To go to California and be a farmer and to be the biggest producer of healthy vegetables and fruits. What a failure. They utterly failed. Did they? No, of course not. They succeeded in a way they couldn't have possibly seen coming, right? Because they're following the Spirit within them. So be careful about that. Let your light shine. This is what we're here to do. We're inherently luminous beings, right? Called to illuminate the world with compassion and kindness and strength. I want to share this from the Gospel of Matthew. I mentioned before, the roots of the Unity movement are deep in Christian mysticism, and we are still looking to the master teacher for guidance. Yes, we do see it quite differently than some others, and I invite you to see it the way that we do, full of light and support and love for each of us exactly the way that we are. The passage reads, you are the light of the world, it says, the master teacher, straight up, you are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Right? That would be silly. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify the Spirit, or as he put it, the Father in heaven. That's how close the Master was to the Spirit, referring to it as Father or even Daddy. Not merely to receive divine light, but to reflect it, right? Amplifying its reach through our actions, our words, and our presence. If you've ever been around someone that exudes this kind of light, they don't have to say anything, right? I have felt healed merely being in the same room with a person that knows that they are light, knows that they know that they know. And there is no other outcome than healing from that. I talk about embracing possibility, right? So as we let our light shine, what does that mean? How do we go about doing that? Well, we create and hold a vision. What would it mean to let our light shine? Here in our church, what would it mean to let our light shine so brightly that anyone in this whole area who feels called to this way of being and this way of seeing can't help but realize that we're here and come check us out. Maybe they'll watch online. Maybe they'll come to meditation and leave. Some people do that. Maybe they'll come to a service. I don't know. But I know that if we let our light shine brightly enough, it will reach people and resonate with people who are answering this very call of the Spirit within themselves, as we all are. Right? We are all seekers at heart, else we would not be here. So we embrace possibility, create a vision, share that vision. Mr. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, words are also seeds, and when dropped into what he liked to call the invisible spiritual substance, right? This God stuff that permeates all of existence. They grow and bring forth after their kind. So be careful what you say. Be careful what words you use. So letting our light shine requires courage and commitment. Now, I mentioned that strength is the power to persevere, to power through, to keep moving. And as we know, each of these 12 powers, we all have them. We don't have to go out and get them. We have them. But we might not be aware of how we're using them. So our work is to become aware of how we are using them and use them in skillful ways versus unskillful ways. So an unskillful use of the power of strength would be to be a bully, right, or a steamroller, to sort of shove everyone out of your way to get what you want. That is an unskillful use of the power of strength. A skillful use of the power of strength is getting up and putting one foot in front of the other, knowing that you are on a holy journey. You are called by the Spirit to whatever it is that you are called to do. And by the way, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about what you're called to do. That's between you and the Spirit. It's none of their business. True strength isn't about dominating circumstances. It's not about forcing outcomes. I would actually claim that that is weakness. True strength, spiritual strength, arises from within. It's anchored in faith and commitment, resilience, and in authenticity. Right? You are light. Let your light shine, because when you let your light shine, you are being authentically who you are. And the world needs you to be exactly who you are. Right? Not to try and fit yourself into someone else's box. I spent too much time doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. I told Heather I'm going to start wearing my hair sticking straight up. I said, pixies and shakes her head. But people will remember that, so I'm sure they will. I may do it. You never know. You know, I'm talking about that bed. You wake up on Saturday morning and it's like, oh, if I just do this, I look like an 80s pop star. And that's sort of, no, I'm putting words in your mouth. I'm teasing. So our Unity co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, reminds us that God is life. Right? God is wisdom, substance, power, strength, and health. God is in all. God is all and in all. So she reminds us, we don't say God is strong. God is strength itself. Right? God is wisdom itself. And we all have these abilities within ourselves as well. It's our divine inheritance. We are creators of worlds. We just don't know it. But when you realize that you are a creator of the world, it becomes an extraordinarily powerful skill to harness. Let's say that for another time. This quote from Buddha, your work is to discover your world, and then with all your heart, give yourself to it. Right? Commitment to service. I'm going to close with this. We commit to letting our light shine. I am being called to a vision for our community that I'll be sharing over time. I feel that the theme for our year 2025 is let your light shine. That's our centering principle, the idea that we will continue to return to. As we ask ourselves, what would it mean, what would it look like for us as a community to let our light shine? You know, that is versus hiding, right? We like to hide because it's safer in a way. But I suggest to you that hiding is not safer than authenticity, because when we're hiding, we're turning away from the Spirit. We don't grow. We can't grow. So what would it look like for this community to let its light shine? To let everyone know we are here. This is who we are. We believe in the inherent divinity and value of every single person, period to end, no matter what. Would people come here? Who would it be? What would that be like? What would this look like? If you get any ideas, email me. I'm open to them. So we commit to letting our light shine, to being visible and open and welcome all who are seeking a positive path for spiritual living, for learning, and for growth. Here's our affirmation. I'll read it and then we can say it together. It is, I am a radiating center of God's love and light. Strengthened by Spirit, I release fear, I embrace possibility, and I let my light shine. Let's say that together. I am a radiating center of God's love and light. Strengthened by Spirit, I release fear, embrace possibility, and let my light shine. In other words, you are light.